It seemed to have rained at night, but I slept like a log. I dreamed that someone was stealing my money. Small sums, a couple thousand yen at a time, but they were doing it regularly, boldly, with no repercussion, while I couldn't stop them. It happens often in dreams, the disgusting feeling of your own helplessness. I woke up and the same feeling of helplessness followed me to reality. They say that dreams are a way for the brain to rethink the events of the preceding day. Shake them up and make conclusions in the form of allegories. Did that mean that I wanted to, but couldn't help Kagome? I guess so, but you didn't need to be a somnologist to know that. The house was quiet as always, no more than usual, but Himitsu wouldn't come today either. Cleaning is important. I rummaged through the refrigerator and laid out a selection of ingredients for a bachelor's breakfast. Several eggs, a piece of moldy cheese, and a bottle of soy sauce. I had to get used to it. Things could get way worse from here on. Chewing on overcooked scrambled eggs, I meditated on what to do today. My thoughts were constantly jumping back to Kagome and her problems, the disappearance of her father, and the conversation with Kobayashi Jun. Are we still on new stuff? We are. Okay. Why had I lied to her? Was it really necessary? I don't even know anymore. It was a moment's whim, as certainty I was doing the right thing. That's how critical decisions are sometimes taken. And if only it was just about me. But I had that piece of information from Kagome. Information important to her and her father. Who gave me the right to do something like that? The doorbell rang. Who could it be so early on a Sunday morning? Standing at the doorstep was Ellie.
Hey, I've been passing by.
I cautiously examined my street behind her, looking for a limo and her bodyguards.
Don't worry, I'm alone.
Smart girl. Must not have been the first time for her. No worry, just didn't expect you. What brings you here?
Here.
She handed me a pinkish envelope covered in heart and flower shapes. What's this?
I'll open it and you'll see.
Judging by how calm Ellie was, it clearly wasn't an invitation to wherever. I opened the envelope to find several bills inside.
For yesterday.
You didn't have to bother. I told you it was a date.
You wish. She pursed her lips and frowned. I also said you'd take the money.
If you insist, mademoiselle.
Indeed I do.
Ellie smiled, and seemed was about to leave, feeling that her debt had been paid. By the way, how do you know where I live?
I'm in Ojo-sama, remember?
She gave me a coquettish glance. Would you like to come in? Just for a cup of tea, that's all. It's Sunday. I simply didn't want to stay alone with myself, the pressing feeling of guilt. Even if right at that moment I were to run to Kagome to apologize, what would it change?
Would this be a date?
If you want it to be. Ellie glanced around and said in a kind of mysterious voice,
if only for a little while.
And what about your, I almost said retinue, what about your boys?
I'm alone today.
Really? I was genuinely surprised.
Do you think I'm some kind of princess in a high castle that I only come out for concerts?
No, but, well, yesterday you said,
I have a big house. It's not hard to slip away when I need to.
And what happens if you're, well, caught? His only response was a sad smile. Better not find out. Got it.
You've got a cozy place. Any brothers or sisters?
No, I'm alone.
Me too.
She responded pensively. No, I mean, completely alone. My parents died some time ago.
I'm very sorry.
Thanks, I'm used to it. At least that's what I sometimes think.
And I often can't be alone. Even if sometimes I really want to.
I was looking at this girl and couldn't figure out what she was thinking. I was lonely, so I invited Ellie in. Did she agree to spend some time alone with herself? Did that make me a piece of furniture? I mean, I can leave.
No, you misunderstood.
She laughed and seemed to have become even prettier than before. She does have a very cute laugh, I can't lie. My chest tightened and I remembered Catherine. Oh. Yeah, that's right. When he's with any other girl, it's Captain Catherine. I get to start dealing with that shit again. Woohoo. Or rather, realized it had been a while since I thought about her. Good. In that sense, at least. I didn't really think any... I was interrupted by yet another ring of the doorbell. 2 visits in the same day? I was getting popular. Wait, I'll be right back.
I think I'll go. Don't want to be a bother.
Don't. I'm telling you, I'll be right back. Maybe it's the post... Post? Did I come up with anything dumber than that? I simply didn't have any idea as to who it could be. Coming. The doorbell rang again, this time longer and more annoyingly. I opened the door and saw Kagome.
I'm not here to start an argument,
she proclaimed from the get-go.
Got no idea and you're going to help me.
I'm glad to, but I'm kind of busy right now.
You owe me for yesterday.
She may have been right, but still, some people always manage to choose the most unfortunate moments. You pace around, wind yourself up, constantly think of the best way to apologize. I don't know, sit on the toilet, for instance, and this person slams the door open with a kick and starts to try to sell you on some wild nonsense. Yep, I do, but let's do it later. Next time, I'll give you a call.
No, we do it now.
Kagome raised her voice. You don't understand, I'm not alone.
So what?
So nothing, damn it. The sound of footsteps came from the hallway. I froze in place, preparing for the worst. This was not good.
I really should go.
No, you're exactly who I need.
Me? Do we know each other?
No, but we will. My name is Iwamura Kagome. I want your grandfather, your damn corporation, to let my father go. Would this not have happened had I not had a fight with Kagome yesterday?
I don't understand what you're talking about. Your father? What does that have to do with Grandpa?
Everything. She even tried to hide her anger, but still attempted to talk as calmly as she could given the situation. Ellie shot me a questioning look. You see, the thing is, I don't want to drag you into this.
She dragged herself into this.
How exactly?
By being a part of that accursed family.
You know what? Ellie shot Kagome an angry glare, but I was sure she simply didn't know how to react.
I do. Imagine that. You better learn who your granddad really is and what his corporation does.
Nick, I don't understand what she's on about.
Ah, so you already know each other.
Listen, you may not care about me, but at least stop embarrassing yourself. The entire neighborhood is about to gather around this place. Do you want that?
Let's talk inside.
No, thank you. I'll go.
You're not going anywhere,
she said in a voice that really did make Ellie stop. I had to do something. It was obvious that Ellie had no connection to her grandfather's dealings, but she was still a Kobayashi. Unfortunately, the sins of the father are a real thing, especially in Eastern societies. Either way, Kagome didn't give me a chance.
I guarantee you that we'd better talk on good terms, unless you want the entire school to find out what you do at nighttime.
How do you know everything? Kagome only smirked in response.
Fine,
Ellie uttered quietly. You don't have to do this.
We'll just talk, right?
Ellie smiled sadly. Soon the three of us were sitting in my kitchen. But what next? There was no sense in trying to think that I had no choice and wasn't to blame. Even if Kagome's actions were sometimes almost impossible to predict, Ellie had absolutely nothing to do with it. I was still going to end up being the scapegoat. I was the one Kobayashi-jun had warned. The girls stood at different sides of the kitchen, refusing to look at each other. Ellie folded her arms over her chest, carefully studying my garden. Kagome, meanwhile, languidly crossed her legs, stared at me in anticipation, implying that I was the master of the house and the ball was in my court. Girls, how about tea?
Your tea isn't poison, but I'd rather not drink it more than I have to.
Kagome sniffed while Ellie addressed me with a smile.
I'd like some, thank you.
The teapot still held enough of the morning's brew. Offering something like that to guests, one of which had her own restaurant, would be disrespectful even to myself. Quickly cleaned out the remnants, poured in fresh hot water. Meanwhile, Ellie sat down opposite from Kagome and seemed to be trying to destroy the latter with a glare. Bad move.
So what did you want to talk about, Iwamura-san? Your tantrum earlier wasn't exactly informative.
That was no tantrum. Kagome was about to go off again, but I managed to collect herself.
My father used to work for your grandfather's company. Not simply work, he dedicated his entire life to it. You people didn't just fire him, but kidnapped him in the middle of the day. You probably have nothing to do with it and don't even know what your grandfather's capable of. But that doesn't matter. In history, there are plenty of tyrants who answer for their sins together with their families.
She prepared the speech in advance.
So what do you propose? Would you send me to the guillotine?
Ellie smirked.
I just want you to talk with your grandfather.
I guess Kagome didn't have a tangible plan, didn't even really know what she wanted from Ellie.
And what am I supposed to tell him? That some petulant girl accused him of who knows what? I'd sooner call the police.
Now that was definitely a bad idea. Girls, I shyly tried to interfere.
Go on, do it.
Here's the tea. Kagome didn't even look at me while Ellie accepted the cup with gratitude.
Thank you.
Though she immediately moved it away and continued the verbal skirmish.
Are you sure it wasn't your imagination? You know, we have a good hospital. I can ask a psychiatrist to see you. Sarcasm all you're capable of. Do you think you're better than me? Why is that? Just because you have money and power? Not at all. I just don't attack people for no reason.
Kagome bit her lip and turned away for a second.
If I had a choice. Yesterday we went to the offices of Kobayashi Corporation, but didn't manage to achieve anything.
We went?
You mean you and...
Ellie gave me a questioning look. Not an angry one, but seemingly chastising. I immediately felt ashamed, as if I had kicked a ball into the neighbor's yard and climbed after it without permission. Yeah, we did. Don't get it wrong, it's true that Kagome doesn't always express herself sensibly, but her father really is in trouble. Trouble? It doesn't seem to have chosen the best word for it either. Doesn't always. Sensibly? Each one of them seemed to hear only what she wanted to hear, with Kagome finally seeming to have noticed I was in the room too. So what happened to her father? He was taken by some people. I agreed with Kagome, but with the way she had treated Ellie, it was hard to stand with her as a united front. It was even hard to choose words that wouldn't upset Ellie. We think that Kagome's father was taken because of his work for Kobayashi Corporation. And you too, I said sadly.
Because it's the truth. How many times do we need to say it for you to understand?
I can't believe that, Grandpa. I seemed to think about it for a moment. Why should I believe you without any evidence?
What evidence do you need? My father's body with his fingers cut?
If you want to say that we are thugs or something, that's just laughable. Kobayashi Corporation is known all over the world. To think that because of a single employee.
A single employee? You don't know who my father was, what he did for you.
True, I don't. Ellie calmly responded.
He was a scientist, a talented scientist, maybe even a genius.
Then why would we kidnap him? I immediately remembered her grandfather telling me that Kagome's father had stolen the corporation's secrets.
That's what I want you to tell me.
Here we go again. Aren't you tired of it? Ellie addressed me. Well, her father did disappear. I responded unsurely. And what does that have to do with me? If she thinks we're at fault here, let her file a police report.
Against Kobayashi Corporation, known all over the world.
Kagome smirked. For the first time in this conversation, Ellie obviously realized Kagome was right about something and frowned. In any case, I know nothing about it.
See? See nothing, hear nothing, say nothing.
Another point for Kagome. At the start of the conversation, I felt guilty for my indecisiveness. Now I clearly understood that it was a bad idea to interfere. But Kagome thought otherwise.
Why are you just standing there?
Me? What about me?
Yesterday we were there, together. And by the way, he was the one who talked to your grandfather.
Is that true? Ellie asked with surprise. Things kind of happened that way. I looked at Kagome. But I told you our conversation in detail. And after you talk with Grandpa, you still intend to support her nonsense? Ellie asked with indignation. I'm not really...
Come on, tell her what you talked about with Kobayashi Jun yesterday.
I knew perfectly well that she was right. Moreover, Ellie's grandfather admitted that his people took Kagome's father. What did any of that have to do with Ellie? Nothing, obviously. Not to mention yesterday, Kobayashi Jun had given me clear orders to keep an eye on Kagome's behavior. Definitely wouldn't be happy that we dragged his granddaughter into this. On the other hand, I felt an acute sense of guilt, duty, and an annoying need to do the right thing. Even if it was only the right thing from Kagome's perspective. I had to help her find her father. The girls were looking at me impatiently. I had to make a decision. Oh no, it's Ellie time, baby. Let's go. But if I were to tell Ellie everything now, she'd most likely talk to her grandfather, and he clearly wasn't used to repeating himself. Wait, let's calm down first. I addressed Kagome. We don't know the entire truth yet, so it's too early to draw conclusions. What do you want from Ellie? How can she help us?
So you're not going to tell her anything?
She asked evenly, but I knew full well this claim was only seeming. This calm was only seeming. I can only tell what I know, but I can't impose any of my assumptions on others and make hasty conclusions.
I see.
Kagome said in the same cool manner and stood up.
What else can I expect from the likes of you?
Leaving already, Umaru-san? Ellie asked victoriously.
Nothing left for me to do here. Not now, not ever.
I wanted to stop her, but how would that look? To stop Kagome from leaving, to let her continue Ellie's interrogation. After I'd already decided to not drag the latter into this. When the door closed behind Kagome, loudly, with an echoing slam, I even let out a sigh of relief. Sorry about her. Quite the temper. To be honest, I didn't really understand what this was all about. Well, how could I explain the situation without parroting Kagome? You're prepared to do a lot for her. Ellie smiled slyly. There's nothing between us, if that's what you mean. God, no. Why not? I think she likes you. Kagome likes me? Why would you think that? Feminine intuition. Nonsense. She was probably just poking fun at me in retaliation. No, we have a completely different relationship. A common interest, so to say. Interesting. And what is it about? She doesn't look like a person who gets along well with others. And by the way, what did you talk to my grandpa about? He kept a heroic silence. Or was that another joke? Wouldn't say Kagome looks like a comedian. I don't hate her, if that's what you mean, but, well, just put yourself in my place. I understand.
And still, she clearly believes what she says. So what was that about my grandpa?
I'd already decided that Ellie didn't have to know about our conversation, so I had to lie to the bitter end. Nothing much. And what was I going to do when Kagome herself would say what had really happened? I don't think you'd be able to help.
Certainly not if I don't even know what I'm meant to help with.
It's a delicate question.
In short, you just don't want to tell me. Believe me, I've had enough time to learn every conversational tactic out there.
Fine, I'm convinced. I have reason to believe that your grandfather is somehow connected to the disappearance of Kagome's father.
And? What? He surely had his reasons. Maybe her father, I don't know, had done something unlawful.
She was perceptive. That's why I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't think you should tell anyone about what happened.
Scared?
Ellie smirked. I'd say I exercise advisable caution.
Fine, if you say so.
She stood up from the chair and walked around the kitchen.
We've got a nice house. It's cute.
Did you want to say small?
No, I wanted to say cute. Living in a mansion with 2 or 3 occupied rooms out of 100 is a strange luxury.
I've only got the one. I waved from the direction of my room. Want to see the house then, if you're curious? In my room, she immediately noticed the bass guitar.
Pity you don't play anymore.
Oh, come on, I wouldn't be any good anyway.
Can I try it?
My chest suddenly felt tight. The very thought that Ellie was going to play my bass guitar made me feel uncomfortable. A regular guitar, her vocals, whatever, I didn't really care. She could probably play the bass better than I ever could have. It's not tuned.
I'll tune it.
How about another time? I said seriously.
Greedy pants. She pouted.
I just got a lot of stuff to do.
Like what?
Like cleaning. I managed to think of something. I'm supposed to be clean today. I'll change the bass strings too. We can play it another time.
Does that mean you're confident there'll be another time?
I'm not. That's not what I meant.
Relax.
She laughed.
If you take everything that seriously, you'll grow old quick.
Isn't 18 a bit too early to think about getting old? I wasn't even sure I'd live long enough.
Grandpa also says that I don't think about the future at all.
Well, do you? I asked naively.
Of course I do. Same as anyone. Sometimes.
A wistful shadow passed over her face.
Alright, I should go now. I hope you talk to your girlfriend and this won't happen again.
She's not my girlfriend. I've known her for barely a week.
Alright, Don Juan. Happy cleaning.
After seeing Ellie off, I returned to the kitchen, fell into the chair, and breathed out. What the fuck even was all that? What does something as simple as a couch mean to a man? Why did I live in a traditional Japanese home when neither I nor my parents were Japanese? Okay, is this shit we've seen before? Yes, this is shit I've seen before. Hi, Michael. Hey, buddy. How you doing, fucko? Anyway, I'll skip to when there's new stuff. Alright, we're back to something new. Apparently, we're gonna go have a chat with Kagome, since and how we didn't take her side this time around. I'm sure she has some words about that. I couldn't postpone the conversation with Kagome any longer, especially after what had happened yesterday. I had taken Ellie's side, and doing so made Iwamura anything but happy. And Kobayashi Jun had clearly explained to me that I had to watch her, and that was in my best interest. The lesson was over, and I let Kagome walk calmly out of the classroom, waving away Kyosuke and his annoying chatter. It wasn't hard to imagine where she was going. And a couple of minutes later, I found her on the roof, indifferently staring out at another day in Tokyo. Could have sworn that in a different situation and under different circumstances, she would have looked very adult and mature. Now I could only see a sad, lonely girl, watching other people live their carefree lives. I knew I'd find you here.
You. Why are you here, Nico-san? I thought we made everything clear yesterday.
I think we haven't even started to. You just dug your heels in and ran away as soon as something didn't go your way.
And you would, of course, prefer that I sit there and silently listen to that spoiled brat reprimand me.
She wasn't reprimanding you. If you remember, you were the one...
Case in point.
She interrupted me abruptly and turned away. Kagome, look, if you want to get something from someone, firing off accusations at them isn't the best tactic. Although, look who's talking. When had I ever thought about the feelings of other people before dumping everything I thought was right on them? Himatsu would definitely have something to say on the matter, as would Catherine.
I was just stating a fact.
It's a fact that people like Kobayashi Jun define what others think is true. Who needs your philosophical truth when it has nothing to do with real life? It won't bring your father back, that's for sure.
So what? You think I should drop to my knees and beg the princess?
For any other girl in her place, I would have thought Kagome was about to break into tears. I don't think dragging Ellie into this was a good idea in the first place. I've already told you, what can she possibly know about her grandfather's affairs? How much do you know about your father's work? See? You're as useful as a snorkel on a fish. I'm trying to help. Her attitude would have long made anyone else turn around and leave. Anyone else. So why was I, definitely not the most patient guy around, still here? You know, you could have at least said thank you. Thank you, she said, suddenly embarrassed. No, I don't mean, I said, abashed, having experienced anything but this reaction. Having expected anything but this reaction. But exchanging niceties isn't likely to solve my problem. I understand that, and I'm trying to help, but we need to act carefully. At the very least, we shouldn't further complicate an already complicated situation. All of a sudden, Kagome tilted her head to the side strangely and squinted. If I didn't know you, I'd say you're protecting Kobayashi. Like there's something between you. Don't worry, even if I wanted it, she and I are from entirely different worlds. Do you want it? Like in that fairy tale about Cinderella? What is this about? Just thinking out loud. Thinking out loud? So you think about me a lot then? I don't. She blushed immediately. Only as someone who can help me. Can, but doesn't want to. Wants to, but can't do much. So what next, Nico-san? What next? I asked her, confused. You said you wanted to help, so what are we doing next? Well, I immediately heard Irina's threatening voice in my head, demanding I don't attract attention. On the one hand, there were the calls and the notes, Kagome's father's disappearance, and the mystery of my parents' death. On the other, grim-looking men in civilian clothing under the command of an extremely weird KGB major. And even if my desire to help Kagome was sincere, I couldn't just ignore danger I was personally in. Besides, each time it was getting harder to remember who couldn't be told what I had said before and what I hadn't. About Irina, for example. In any case, you can't just solve a problem like that in one swoop. You need to be smart about it. You're speaking in generalities. She raised her tone and was about to leave. Running away again? The bell's about to ring. Oh, right. I instinctively stepped aside, letting her pass. Clouds idly flowed through the sky as a plane weaved its way between them, leaving behind a narrow white trail. I wondered, if I were to, right now, win a ticket to the other end of the world in a lottery, would I be able to jump aboard and leave all my worries behind? To just ascend thousands of meters above the ground and watch little humans run around from my bird's eye view. What was stopping me anyway? I had enough money to buy a ticket and even survive in another country for a bit. I spoke Russian and Japanese, knew English well enough, and although my academic record wasn't that impressive, I consider myself a pretty smart guy. But the bell brought me literally back down to earth and reminded me that those born to crawl may never fly. I stepped into the classroom right after my teacher, but he pretended that's the way it was supposed to be. Catherine was sitting by her desk, absentmindedly looking out the window. Why had she been seated behind me in the first place? That constant, intense, judgmental look peering into my back would set anyone on edge. And I'd be feeling it if she wasn't actually looking at me at all. Maybe I'd recently gained problems more important than unrequited love, but we never sorted our relationship out. I'm assuming this is new shit. I mean old shit. Yeah, that's old shit. Alright. So, once again, I will skip until we see some new content. Until then.